Hello everyone. Today we will revise Entrepreneurial Opportunity Unit 1 for class 12. Its weightage, although weightage of Unit 1 and 2 together is 30 marks for board exams, but for its weightage is 15 marks, on an average 15 marks you can expect in your exam. We'll try to give a quick revision to this unit, and generally I prefer to teach through PPT, but here I'm preferring to use this book because it's a final revision so that you can actually connect with the content. So let's start. First of all, the definition of entrepreneur. As per Peter F. Drucker, entrepreneur is the one who always searches for an opportunity, who always has a hunger to search for an opportunity. Then what is the test of an entrepreneur? The basic test of an entrepreneur is that he always searches for an opportunity, and ensures that there should be best use of that opportunity. Now, what is business opportunity? Business opportunity can be defined as an economic idea. Why economic idea? Because it can help us in fetching the money, which can be implemented to create a business enterprise to earn profit. So business opportunity is an economic idea which can be implemented to create business enterprise and to earn profit. There are two things which are basically required in a business opportunity, or here we also say the two prerequisites. Two prerequisites of a business opportunity. For that term is MR. M means good market, that your business only select that idea as a business opportunity which has good market scope. Good market scope means that if you are making product for kids between 6 to 9, then ensure that the kids between the age of 6 to 9 should be there in the market, should be available in the area where you are planning to sell your product. So that is a market scope. Then we have rate of return. Second thing you need to see in that idea is that whether that idea can give you return more than your investment or not. Okay, so these are the two things you need to see before converting that idea into opportunity. The next question is, can all ideas be converted into opportunity? The answer is no. All ideas cannot be converted into opportunity. Only that idea which has these 5 elements can be converted into business opportunity. Which are these 5 elements? See, if an idea has these 5 elements, then it can be converted into business opportunity. Which are these 5 elements? First element is assured market scope. As I told you earlier also, assured market scope means that, let's say if I'm planning to sell sarees in France, it means what I have not done check the market scope, because in France nobody wears sarees. Yes or no? So before selling the product, check that whether the market is available for that product or not. Second, you need to see in that idea is that idea should give you good acceptable return. Okay, which means cost should be more than the return. Third is practicability of idea. Practicability means whether that idea is actually implementable or not, whether that idea is actually feasible or not. Don't think about impossible ideas. Then competency of the entrepreneur. You also should have the ability to encash that idea. Select only that idea as an opportunity for which you also have the ability to implement it. Then potential of future growth. Only that idea can be taken as an opportunity which has chances of future growth, which can not only fetch me benefits or profits in the present, but can also help in growing in future. So can all ideas be converted into opportunity? No, only those ideas which have these 5 elements can be converted into opportunity. Which are these 5 elements? For that the term is MAP-CG. MAP-CG, M for market scope, A for attractive return, P for practicability, C for competency, G for growth. Learn this term. Elements of business opportunity, MAP-CG. Next we have to see the enterprise building process. See how an enterprise building process is related with converting, identifying the idea and then actually launching the business of that idea. Fine. So there are 4 steps in this. There are 4 stages. First stage is opportunity spotting. How we spot the opportunity? Opportunity is spotted by identifying the need and problem of the society. Just see what problem people are facing. That problem can be your opportunity. After identifying that problem, which is in the form of opportunity for you, find out the various ways how you can solve that problem. When you will find out various ideas, you cannot implement all the ideas. Then what you have to do? You have to evaluate the ideas. So evaluate the ideas and identify the best idea. After evaluating the ideas, you will be having one idea in your hand. Now what to do? Make the product on the basis of that idea. Whatever solution you have thought, make the product on the basis of that idea. After making the product, okay, now launch the business. That's project the business. So there are 4 steps for enterprise building process. For that the term which I tell my students is OCIP. This is a process. You cannot break the stages. Okay, so you have to learn this process in the same sequence only. O for opportunity spotting, C for creativity and idea, I for innovation and product, P for project business. Opportunity spotting is from problem identification. Problem identify करने के बाद find out the various ideas and select one best idea. On the basis of that best idea, make one product. After making the product, launch your business. That's your OCPIP. After that, we have a very, very important question, which is factors involved in sensing opportunity. It's a very important question, one of the favorite question of CBSE for entrepreneurship. There are 3 factors which are involved in sensing opportunity. Those factors are ability to perceive and preserve basic idea, ability to harness, and vision and creativity. For this, I generally tell my students the term is AAV. AAV means ability to perceive and preserve basic idea, ability to harness, vision and creativity. Let's come to the first point, that is ability to perceive and preserve basic idea. Class 12, this topic can be in your exams as a question, what are the sources of basic idea? What are the sources which lead to basic idea? Okay, sources which lead to emergence of basic idea. So first of all, what are the various sources from where an entrepreneur can get the idea? First source is problem. As I told you, identify the problem which people are facing, give the solution. That solution can be your business opportunity. So solution of a problem can lead to a business opportunity. Change, whatever change comes in the society, whether it's a social change or legal change or political change, whatever change comes in the society, you can find the opportunity in that. For example, social change, people have become more health conscious, so it has created so many business opportunities for health drinks and health food in the market. So every change brings the opportunity. Invention means bring some new products, create some new product in the market. New product or new innovations can also lead to innovation. Competition, I always want to stay ahead than my competitor. If you want to stay ahead than your competitor, think what you can do better. So in that wish of doing better, you will definitely come up with some new idea. So that's the competition also leads to new business opportunity. Then innovation means doing changes in existing product. Now there is one invention, other is innovation. See class 12, if there is some new out of the box product is produced, that is invention. But if certain changes are done in already existing product, then that is innovation. For example, earlier there used to be personal computers. Now from personal computers we have laptops, then from laptop we have very handy tabs. Yes or no? So that is invention. But out of the box, Tesla created those EV vehicles. So that's a invention. Okay, so creating something new is invention, or making changes in already existing product is innovation. Next factor of sensing opportunities are ability to harness different sources of information. First of all, we gather the information from different sources. That can be magazines, journal, books or seminars. After gathering the information, we analyze that information. Means what we can identify some problem, need, or we can identify, on the basis of doing the analysis of information, we can identify what market wants, and then on the basis of that analysis we can create the opportunity. So what you will write down, and in this point, that first of all the information is gathered from books and journals, that information is analyzed, and after analyzing the information, the opportunity is identified. After that, third is vision and creativity. See, problem is seen by many people. There are large number of people who observe the same problem, but it's only entrepreneur who comes up with the creative solution of that entrepreneur. So, and there are people also who come with a creative solution, but everybody's solution does not work. So it's the vision and creativity of the entrepreneur which also plays a very important role in sensing an opportunity. So these are the 3 factors which are very important for your exams. So factors sensing business opportunity are AAV, ability to perceive and preserve basic idea, in which we say, for this I generally tell my students a term ICICP. IC, invention, competition, innovation, change and problem. ICICP. And then we have ability to harness. Words are gather, analyze, opportunity. Vision and creativity, every person sees the problem, but entrepreneur comes with a creative solution with his vision and creativity. After that, we have environment scanning. First of all, understanding the meaning of environment scanning. What is business environment? Business environment means, you see, you take whole environment, you take whole world, whole universe, and out of this whole universe, subtract your own business. Why? Because this is the only thing which is in my control. But rest all of this is not in your control. Yes or no? So that part which is not in your control, but under which your business operates is called environment, business environment. So all those conditions which are external to business under which it operates is called business environment. Environment scanning. So whatever internal and external factors are there which can impact my business, चाहे वो मेरे लिए opportunity लेके आए, चाहे वो threat लेके आए, तो उसका careful monitoring. So careful monitoring of all the internal and external factors which can bring either opportunity or threat. That is called, that monitoring is called environment scanning. Threat एडवांस में देखना भी फ़ायदे की बात है, opportunity एडवांस में देखना भी फ़ायदे की बात है. तो environment scanning is a careful monitoring of an organization's internal and external environment for detecting early signs of opportunities and threats that can influence the current and future plans of the business. Let's come to the importance of environment. In the importance of environment, first of all, see, in this whole importance, there are two words which we are going to use again and again. That is opportunity and threat. All these points, in all these points, we are going to, all the 6 points of importance, we are going to use two words again and again, opportunity and threats. So first we have is identification of opportunity to get first mover advantage. See, when an entrepreneur does environment scanning, it helps the entrepreneur in identifying what are the various opportunities coming in the market in advance. And when he sees that opportunity in advance, he prepares himself in advance for that opportunity, so that when that opportunity will come, then he is the only entrepreneur available in the market who can take the benefit of that opportunity, as Nerolac did. When Maruti decided to increase the production, Nerolac saw in advance that Maruti will be increasing the production, then it will need more paint companies to do the paint. So Nerolac did joint venture with the Kansai Paints, and then when Maruti actually came to the market and it asked for paint companies, then there was only one company which was available which could actually fulfill Maruti's need, that was Nerolac. So Nerolac took the advantage, Nerolac did the environment scanning, saw the opportunity and got the first mover advantage. Then we have formulation of strategies and policies. See, for when we do business environment scanning, it helps in identifying the opportunities and threats. For opportunities, we can all opportunities means what are the positive things which are coming in the market. I can make a policy to grab those opportunities. So, and threat means the negative things which can negatively affect my business. If I can see the threat, I can prepare my strategy to face that threat. Strategy is always made for the competitors, that how I'm going to face it out. So the benefit is environment scanning helps in identifying the opportunities in advance. So to face that opportunity, to actually get that opportunity, we prepare the policy in advance. Environment scanning also helps in identifying the threats in advance. So it helps in we make the strategy to face that threat in advance. So environment scanning helps in making both strategies and policies. Tapping useful resources. See, just take an example that without doing scanning of the market, I made a product and I went to the market and I started selling that product. When I said selling, actually, but nobody came to buy my product. ये क्या? कोई भी प्रोडक्ट नहीं खरीदने आया. क्यों? क्योंकि वो मेरा प्रोडक्ट लोगों की नीड के अकॉर्डिंग था ही नहीं. तो क्या होगा? Whatever resources I have used to make the product, all the resources will get wasted. Yes or no? But let's take a vice versa. If I would have gone to the market, identified the need of the people, and then come back and made the product according to that need, then that would have helped me in doing the best use of those resources. This is the one point. The second thing is, because we have complete good market environment knowledge, because of the environment scanning, it can help you in identifying from where you can get good quality raw material, where good labor is available. Okay, so where are the other resources which are available, so which can also help in tapping useful resources. Next we have is better performance. See, if a business is always ready to face the opportunities and threats, if opportunity is coming, I am the first one to grab it. If there are threats, I am not worried, I have already prepared myself. Definitely your performance will be better. Your performance will be better because you will always be ready with the timely action. Opportunity, I am ready with the action. Threat, I am ready with the action. So definitely it will improve your performance. Then we have sensitization of entrepreneur to cope up with rapid changes. See, an entrepreneur who is always aware what is happening in the environment. So that entrepreneur is always, I'll say, anxious to make the changes as per those changes, whatever he is seeing in the environment. So understanding or continuous environment scanning keeps the entrepreneur sensitized. Keeps the entrepreneur always into his senses. Okay, I have to do this change, I have to do that change. Because if he will not change, he will not be able to cope up with the rapid environment, then he will be thrown out of the market by his competitors. Yes, bacha. So sensitization of another benefit is it keeps the entrepreneur sensitized to change itself as per the changing environment. Image building. What is image building? Entrepreneur generally, if you when does your loyal customer leave you? Your loyal customer leaves you when your competitors offers a better product. What if you are already doing the environment scanning and you keep on updating your product? Then your customer will never think about leaving you. So environment scanning helps the entrepreneur to keep on coming up with the new products. As you keep on coming up with a new product, it builds your image and reputation in the eyes of the general public. Now my students learn one very basic term to keep all these points in their mind, that is FORBIS. FORBIS. F for formulation of strategies and policies, O for opportunities to get first mover advantage, R for tapping useful resources, B for better image and better performance, I for image building, S for sensitization of to cope up with rapid changes. Learn this term by a single word you will learn. Later you will get to know the point. Next we have is analysis of environment. There are two factors. Micro business environment has two factors, micro environment and macro environment. Micro environment factors mean, what is the difference between these two? See, micro environment factors are those which directly impact your business. Macro environment factors indirectly impact your business. For example, micro environment include customer, supplier. If my customers stop buying my product, it will affect my business. Yes or no? But in case of macro, if there is change in political party, definitely that political party will come with new changes, new policies, and it will also affect my business. But not only my business, it will affect everybody's business. So somehow it will affect my business also, but indirectly. So micro factors directly affect your business and macro factors indirectly affect your business. Done? Micro environment factors you have already studied in your class 11, but still I will not ask you to leave that topic, because in one of the term 1 exams we already had this question in board exams. So you have to learn this topic also. Macro environment is the main topic here, which is your pestle model. Pestle model, very 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 important topic, pestle model. Pestle model, here we see how various factors of environment can impact the business. Which are the various factors which can impact the business? Under political, like taxation policy made by government stability, foreign trade regulation, these are the factors. When I say taxation policy, recently you would have seen Trump has imposed 50% tariff on India. Trump has even imposed penalty tariff on India. So it has nothing to do with the economic system, rather it is because of the political relation between Trump and Modi, where people say, okay, Trump wants to have peace, Trump wants India to nominate him for peace prize, that's why he is putting this pressure on India. So he has made this kind of policy. So when government makes changes in their policies because of their political relations, that is your political environment. Then government stability. Nowadays more and more companies, international companies, are coming to India and investing money in India because our present government is stable from last 10 years. So that also plays the role. Foreign trade regulations, what kind of trade regulations we have. Done? Then we have economic environment. If you are commerce student or humanities who have studied economics, then whatever topics you have studied in economics, they all are part of your economic environment. Very simple. Interest rate. If interest rate will increase, people's disposable income will decrease. They will buy less. Inflation will increase. People will have less. The value of money in the pocket will decrease. So they will buy less. Ultimately, with all these factors, what will get affected? It's the business which will get affected. Next is social. Social environment includes the population demographic, social mobility, income distribution, lifestyle changes. If people are changing their lifestyle, then those companies which were making fried products, those companies which were making very unhealthy products, their businesses are getting deteriorated now. Why their business is getting deteriorated? The reason is lifestyle changes. The lifestyle changes are part of social environment. Then we have technical. So when government does spend good amount of money on research and development, that spending of good amount of money on research and development by government also leads to benefit of the business. Okay, because there will be better infrastructure, there will be better technology which can help the other businesses also to get good money. So it is important for you to write on government spending word. Some people don't write on the government spending, but here CBSE book, it is specific that this investment in CBSE book is talking about government spending on research and development. So I'll suggest you don't get your marks deducted, be specific for government spending on research and development. Then we have ecological. Ecological is related with environment, but don't write on the word environment there. So when the businessman does the business, he has to ensure that he should not be degrading, or he should not be polluting the environment. So when any such type of goods are produced, so whatever goods are produced, they should be doing with minimum environmental damage. But sometimes kids write down environment in place of ecological. We give 0 marks for that. It's only ecological, no environment. I'm talking about board exams. Then we say legal. Legal environment covers the taxation law, employment law, or monopoly law or act, legislation act, or foreign exchange act. So here I'm talking, the word which common I've said here is act. Act, bill. When any act or bill is passed, then it is part of your legal environment. When your case study is talking about any act, any bill, any law, then your case study is talking about legal environment. Now there is one thing, one taxation word is here also, and taxation policy word is here also. Policy is made by the government, so that is taxation policy. And whenever the new tax is passed, for example when GST came, it was not any, it was that the proper GST act was passed, only then GST came into existence. Got it? So if it is related with some policy, then it is political. But if it's only taxation related to certain act which is newly launched or deleted, then it is your legal environment. Next we have a very important, this is one of the hot favorite topic of CBSE from last 3-4 years. Every year they are giving one question out of this, either 2 marker or 3 marker. What is problem identification? Any, like I'm doing the business, or I'm doing some work, and while doing that work I face a roadblock. That roadblock convinces me to find a solution. That's the problem identification. So the roadblock is a key word here, class 12. दिमाग में बिठा लो इसको, roadblock is the key word. If you somewhere in the case study read the word roadblock, that's problem identification. A problem is a roadblock in a situation, something that steps up conflict and forces you to find a solution. What is the objective of problem identification? The first objective is that when I identify the problem, I should also identify that what exactly is the problem identified. What exactly is the problem I have identified? Fine. After then I have to identify what is the target group of people who are facing that problem. Because unless or until I am able to identify the target group, only then I identify the solution for that target group. So that it clearly state the problem, and then identify the target group of people who are facing that problem. After that, whatever solution you have identified, see whether your target group will use that solution or not. So market acceptability of the solution. Fine. So these are the 3 objectives. For this my kids have made the term SIS. One is state the problem, I for identify the target group, S for solution is acceptable to the market or not. Then uses of problem identification. What are the uses? Uses is that when we identify the problem, after identifying the problem, that problem has actually encouraged me to find the solution. So that problem can help me find out the new product. On the basis of the solution, I can find out a new product in the market. Understand what are the exactly problems and needs faced by the people. I can be creative. Creative means find various solutions of the problem. Problem identification can make me creative because it can help me in find out various solutions. Then it can also help in finding the employment generation. More opportunities, more business, more industry, more opportunities, and definitely this will lead to increase in national income. There is a term which is be nice. Be nice. Be nice here means, one is bring new product in the market, then need and identify the need and problem of the people. Then we say here we have increase the national income. Then we say increase the national income, and then we say employment opportunities. That what are the E for employment opportunities, and C for be creative. So be nice, B bring new product, N national income, I innovation, this your increase in national income, C for creative, and E for employment generation. After that we have idea generation. What are idea fields? Idea fields are the framework. Class 12, keep this word in your mind. If your case study talks about convenient frame of reference, your case study is talking about idea field. Convenient frame of reference for streamlining the process of generation of idea is idea field. So learn this word. See, in our class 12 entrepreneurship, there are some keywords which are very clear. So convenient frame of reference for streamlining the process of idea generation is idea field. There are various idea fields. I will tell you the clear differentiation between all the idea fields, which can help you to identify or crack your case study very clearly. First we have is natural resources. See, natural resources are related with if your idea has come up from nature, or it has come from the nature, or the raw material which you are using from your idea is from nature. The raw material which you are using for your idea is coming from nature, then it is your natural field, natural resource idea field. After that we have existing product or service. Class 12, very carefully. Existing product or service means an entrepreneur is already doing one business, and while doing that business he adds some new product, or he expands his business by adding new idea. That is existing, then his idea field is existing product and service. For example, let's say I am running a commerce institute, and while running commerce institute I add one science section also in my commerce institute. I expand my commerce institute with science section also. Then the idea field is existing product and service. Okay, let's say I was making toothpaste, and while making toothpaste I added the soap also in my business. I started making soap also. My idea field is existing product and service. So when an entrepreneur is already doing a business, and while doing that business he adds some lines into his business, he expands his business, then that is existing product and service. So what will be the benefit of it? The benefit will be your sales will increase. Earlier only commerce students were coming to me, now science students will also come to me, so my sales will increase. Then I'll be ahead than my competitors. I will be ahead than my competitors. Why? Because earlier my competitors are still selling their product to commerce students, but now I have my business is expanded from commerce to science also. So these are the two benefits for existing product and service. After that we have market driven or demand driven. Class 12, if your case study talks about any research which is conducted in the market, whether in the form of questionnaire, or any in the form of talk show, or in the form of any market survey, if any survey is conducted, or any research is conducted in the market to identify the need and problem, and then on the basis of that we made the product. So when a product is made on the basis of some information which is gathered from the market, or on the basis of market research, then your idea field is market driven or demand driven. Then we have trading related ideas, as its name is telling you. Trading means buying and selling. When your case study is talking about buying and selling, I'm not making anything, I'm just buying it from one place and selling it in another place. That is trading. This has become very popular in nowadays. Think about Amazon, Myntra and Ajio. What they all are doing? They are buying the product from the buyer and from the seller, and then selling it further. So these all are trading businesses. Your departmental stores are trading businesses. So all the local market, import, export, e-commerce, they all are examples of trade related businesses. Service sector. So where the customer, we are not giving customer any tangible thing to take at home, or that is your service related. For example, all the fast food examples, all the food related examples are service sector. Keep it in your mind. Then your family dinner, sandwich, ice cream, Indian dessert, and specialty tourism. Tourism is again when we go for a vacation, what do we get? We only buy the experience. Specialty tourism, personal grooming salons, career counseling, chain of repair and maintenance. Learn all these headers very carefully. If your case study talks about any of these headers, your case study is talking about service sector. Your case study is talking about service sector. Then last but not the least, very important, is creative efforts. What are creative efforts? Creative efforts means if your case study is talking about identifying a problem and then finding the solution of that problem. If your case study is giving solution of some problem, then your case study is talking about creative efforts. And that solution can be in the form of developing a new product or service, improving an already existing product or service, or finding a new process somebody else. So keep one thing in your mind. When I say improving an existing product or service, it's not me who is making it. Somebody else was making the product. Let's say somebody else was making a toothpaste which was very sweet. So I decided to make the toothpaste with some of to balance that sweetness, which should not instead of decreasing the cavities, which should not increase the cavities. Now what is the difference between existing product and service we did there and existing? In that I was already doing the business, but here I'm not doing the business. This is the product which is already made in the market, and now I identified the product and did certain changes to the existing product, that is creative efforts. Then find a new process or resources, find new markets for existing product or service, find a new use of existing product or service. So learn all these 5 points very very carefully, because if out of these 5 points anyone can be in the form of case study and we can ask you to identify. So it is creative effort. And class 12, if you have any kind of doubt or question, you can definitely write in the comment box. I can reply it there also if you have any doubt. Then we have product identification. Product identification, after opportunity spotting, what we do? We analyze the environment, and after analyzing the environment, we identify the product. So here we have the idea and opportunity assessment. Before actually converting the idea into opportunity, we did the 5 elements. But other than those 5 elements, an entrepreneur performs the opportunity assessment process to see that whether he should actually implement that idea or not. Okay, so before actually implementing the idea, an entrepreneur does the opportunity assessment process to see whether he should actually implement that idea or not. So you have to learn, keep this in your mind, these all are the steps. So you have to learn these all steps in the same sequence. You cannot change the sequence of these steps. That is why my students have made one term that is called PALCO quota. What is this PALCO quota? So one PAL T-A, PALCO quota. So first of all, from P we have product identification. First of all, an entrepreneur see that what is the product he is trying to make on the basis of solution for the problem which he has identified. Fine. So let's say here the book, in your book itself, a very good example is given of pen drive. The teachers generally lose the pen drive. So one of the students came up with the idea of making a bracelet where teachers can put their pen drive and save their pen drive. So this way they will not lose it. So the first step in opportunity spotting is identify the product. After identifying the product, just see whether people will actually use that product or not. Whether people will actually use that product or not, whether it will be really applied in the market or not. So here it is, application and use. So here we see whatever product or idea we have examined, whether that idea will be applicable in the real life use or not. If it will not, if you will, like you ask the teachers, madam, will you like to wear a bracelet which has a pen drive attached to it? I don't think teachers will agree to it. Like we'll say, we already have enough amount of we already have watch in our hand, so I won't like to have so many kind of funny bracelet on my hand. Yes or no? So you, after identifying the product, you need to see whether it is actually applicable or not, people will use it in real life or not. Then level of operation. Let's say people say, okay, we are ready to use it. Then at what level you are going to start it, whether it will be at a cottage level or a very small level or a very large scale level. Then because on that basis we'll arrange the investment. Then we have cost. What should be the cost of the product? That here you need to see the cost of your competitors also. If your competitors are already making that product at a very less cost and the cost which you are calculating is very high, then what is the fun of going to the same market? It means you need to do the calculations again. So cost is another, then we have to calculate the cost of the product. Then comes the competition, that whether any product or service will face market competition at some stage. So you need to see in advance you need to study all your competitors in advance. You need to do the SWOT analysis of all your competitors in advance. Then we have technical complexity. फिर मैं देखूंगी whatever technology is needed to make this product, whether the technology is available or not. If it's not available, from where I can get it. Fine, that's what you need to see. Then you have annual turnover and profit margin. Finally, we see if I actually implement that idea, how much can be the actual sales, how much can be the annual turnover, and how much can be the profit margin from this stock. Done. So here comes the 7 points. What are these 7 points? P for product identification, P for product identification, A for application and use. Product identification, product identify करते हैं, real life use करते हैं, a level of operations, at which level we are going to start the business. Cost, what should be the cost of our product? Definitely it should be lesser than your competitor. Competitor analysis, so that I should be better than my competitor, technical complexity, and A for annual turnover, and a profit margin. So learn this term, PALCO quota, and you have to learn it in the same sequence because these are the steps. After that, next we have is a market assessment. Before actually sending the product into the market, you need to see these factors. For that, the term is DSIC, which means DSCP, which means D for demand. First of all, see how much actual demand is there of product in the market. Let's say demand of the product is 600 units, and how much supply, how much supply that already existing producers are doing. Let's say actual supply is 800. Let's say actual supply is 800, and the demand was, let's say, 1600. Demand is 1600, actual supply is 800. It means I have a scope of sending more 800 units in the market. How much is the cost and price of the product which the competitors are already selling, and whether there is chances of innovation or not. If there are chances of innovation, so do those innovation and changes in your product before taking it into the market. Done? Then come the very important topic, trend spotting. Why trend spotting is important? It helps the entrepreneur to understand the market. There are 4 ways to do the trend spotting. For that, the term is RTWT. R means read trend. Read means that we can identify the opportunity by reading the books, journals, or by reading the blogs, by reading all these things. So enough amount of information is available. So by reading that information, we can identify what kind of trend is going on in the market. Got it? So here your keywords are magazines, thought leaders, influential bloggers, newspapers. These all are the main areas from where you can identify, you can read and get the information. Then we have talk trend. Under talk trend, we talk to the people. And try to identify their likings, their dislikings, and their taste, their preference. That is your talk trend. But here, how can we identify those talk trend? How can we identify that where should I go and talk, that I should get the right amount of information, the accurate information, or the relevant information? For that, you can get involved in industry trade associations and attending events both online and offline. You can also become part of the social networking tools like social network websites and forums. You can join the WhatsApp groups of the people, what people are buzzing about. You can see Instagram or all the social media things where people actually talk. Like if one of the person put one video on the Instagram, then so many people comes up with their own views, and somebody says positive and somebody says negative. But here you can see, okay, what exactly is the trend going on. Then we have your watch trend. ना कुछ बोला, ना कुछ पढ़ा, कुछ नहीं करना, just observe. Watch trend is just observe. You just go to the place where your target market is and just observe them. Let's say your target market is young age. Your target market is Gen Zs. Where you will find them? You will find them in cinema halls. You will find them in this movie theaters, or you will find them in cafes. Go to these places. You go to these malls. Go through these malls and see what these Gen Zs buy, how these Gen Zs behave. That's what's trend. Then we say if you want to see the old age person, go to the parks in the evening. You can observe them there. So where what's trend means of identifying the trend just by observing the people. Think trend. Think trend means analysis. After reading, what I do? I will do the analysis and come out with the idea. Reading plus analysis is think trend. Talking plus analysis is think trend. Watching plus analysis is think trend. Reading plus talking plus analysis, think trend. Reading plus talking plus watch trend plus analysis is think trend. So if your case study is talking about 2 or more trends along with analysis, then it is your think trend. Done? After that, very, very, very important topic, class 12. This is one of the most favorite topic of CBSE and as well as your school teachers. I am sure from the first term exams till 15 February 2026, you will see this question in every term in your exam. Why I said 15 February 2026? Because 15 February is the favorite date for CBSE for keeping your entrepreneurship board exam. From last number of years, we are getting 15 February as a exam. So it's a tentative date, I'm just saying you. Creativity. So keep one thing in your mind, learn this line very carefully. Creativity is the important to entrepreneur because it is the first stage in the process of innovation. Please learn it. first stage in the process of innovation. It's not step, bacha. First stage of innovation is creativity. First step of innovation I'll teach you now. Okay, so first stage of innovation is creativity. So here we have the creativity process. There are, for creativity process, my students have made this term, which is IPIIV. IPIIV. First I is, in creativity process, first of all we germinate the idea. Germination term is basically related with science है ना. When we say germination, when a small bird comes out of the seed, same thing is here. So this germination means a small idea, idea just came out, idea just germinated in your mind. So that's why this stage is also called seeding stage of a new idea. At this stage the entrepreneur recognizes the opportunity, but he does not grab the opportunity, you know. After recognizing the opportunity, he see whether his interest and knowledge is there in that opportunity or not. If his knowledge and interest correlates with that opportunity, only then he selects that opportunity. Only then he moves ahead with that idea. So first idea is idea germination, which is the seeding stage. Here the entrepreneur germinates the opportunity according to his interest and curiosity. Then we have preparation. After identifying the idea, जो भी idea मेरे दिमाग में आया, I will not implement it one go. I will do the market research. After identifying the idea, entrepreneur conducts the market research to see whether that idea can be implemented or not, whether that idea has future scope or not. So because the seed of curiosity has taken form, the entrepreneur foresees the future of the product, and whether that idea is implementable and whether that idea can fetch me any benefit or profit in future or not. Then we have incubation. Now once the idea is ready, that idea will stay in my mind. You understand the word incubation? That word is basically taken from the incubator. What is incubator? When a premature baby is born, then that baby is kept in a machine which is called incubator, till the time baby grows. So same way here, that incubator is your mind. Till the idea is actually ready to be implemented, you keep on thinking about that idea in your subconscious mind. What will be the pros, what will be the cons, should I move ahead, should I not move ahead, agar aage hua to kya hua, nahi hua to kya. So that assimilation of information in your subconscious mind is called an incubation. The subconscious assimilation of information, this is basically the transition phase. You know why? Because here, if your mind will convince you, yes, the idea is good, you will move to the next step. But if your mind will say, no, idea is not good, I cannot move it, you will turn back. So it's a transition phase. Done? Next we have illumination. Illumination matlab, the light is on. Finally, I'm ready with my idea. My incubation says, go ahead with the idea. Now I illuminate, which means now I'll prepare the plan how I'm going to execute the idea. So here the key word is making the viable plan and preparing your idea in a realistic way, that how I'm going to implement that idea, make the viable plan. So to give the practical shape and arrange the raw material and other things for your implementation of idea. Then comes the verification, the most difficult phase for an entrepreneur, you know, because here I will make the prototype and I will send that prototype for the testing. I'll make the prototype. Here we make the prototype and send that prototype. The prototype matlab model of the product. And then we send that product for checking in the market. Now here comes the most difficult stage, because here actually the problems will start erupting. Why? Because if people will when we actually start using the product, then we realize, अच्छा इसमें तो ये कमी रह गई, इसमें तो ये भी होना चाहिए था. Now you will start getting that negative feedback. Now you have to start working on that negative feedback. So this is the testing phase or validation stage, because here your innovation will be validated, and because the idea is verified that whether it has value or not. This is the most difficult phase, agree, because the obstacles begin to appear. So IPIIV. Learn this term, bacha. IPIIV. Idea germination, P for preparation, I for illumination, I for incubation, illumination and verification. Last is elements of innovation process. Innovation is a separate process. It's not part of creativity. Creativity is a separate process. Innovation is a separate process. So it's a process now. Okay, and this process has steps, and the steps are ARIC. ARIC. Learn this term, ARIC. A for, first of all, bacha, after making the prototype in creativity process, and we know that product is tested also in creativity process. Now I will take my product on the commercial level. I will take my product for the selling. So for that, first thing I need to do is the analytical planning. Under analytical planning, we plan what will be the feature, design, and what are the resources which are needed to make the product. प्रोडक्ट का डिज़ाइन कैसा होगा, फीचर्स क्या होंगे, एज वेल एज व्हाट आर द रिसोर्सेज विच आर नीडेड टू मेक द प्रोडक्ट. After that, we'll arrange the resources. The resources will be organized. We'll arrange the material resources, technological and human resources, which will actually be implemented to get the product. Finally, the resources will be implemented, product will be made, results will be delivered, and whatever money we will get, that will be used for the commercial application, which means value to the customers in the form of product. Employees will be rewarded in the form of salary, and stakeholders, the entrepreneur or the other persons who have invested money in my business, will get the profit. So these are the 4 steps in the innovation process. That is Eric. Class 12, if you have any kind of doubt, any question you want to ask, any topic you want to ask, put it in the comment box. I will repeat it for you. I can send the voice message also in comment box. Okay, feel free to ask. For more details, you can visit our website. Notes are available for this chapter. You can get the notes from my website, that's studyresearch.in. Thank you for joining.